I've been US number one. I've broken multiple school records, but let me tell you the mistakes I've made. The biggest mistake I made was not recovering the way I was supposed to. So that includes me not getting enough sleep, and I would recover as in doing prehab and things like that, but I wasn't as consistent as I should have been. And honestly, just being on top of that would have helped prevent all types of injuries and help with my longevity in the sport and my seasons. Another mistake I made was not taking my mental gym seriously, and that includes visualizing, meditating, and just making sure my mental, even going to a sports psychologist or things like that, and making sure my mental is stronger than my physical, because there's a lot of talented athletes out there. However, if you can't perform when you need it, then there's really no point. You know, most people, most sponsors or whatever are looking for consistency and competing when it really counts. That's in the bigger meets and the bigger meets or meets that really count. Another big thing was not being consistent off the track as well, because and literally just taking care of myself, right? I would be taking care of myself, you know, pretty good for a month or so, whatever, but then I wasn't as consistent as I should have been, where in the sense of keeping on top of my, like I said before, my sleep, and keeping on top of what I'm eating, and just general self-care, like health and beauty, and just keeping on top of that. You know, there's obviously reasons that I'm not gonna get into right now, but how you take care of yourself off the track really does affect how you perform on the track, and that is a big mistake that I've made and that I already learned from, and I am just pivoting and just taking care of myself on and off the track. And speaking about consistency, it really did reflect of how I was off the track with how I was running, because before going to college and high school, I was pretty consistent in all the races, right? Even though I wasn't the fastest, I was pretty consistent, but there was kind of a shift where when I would go to the big meets, I would kind of get a little scared or whatever and not perform the way I knew I was supposed to. And it wasn't necessarily just big meets, because there were, you know, I placed third in Jamaican trials, or I placed in big meets, but it wasn't really the meet per se. I think it was just me not being mentally prepared for races, right? I will let my emotions take over, but right now I am taking control of my emotions and things like that. So let's see, it's gonna get better regardless. So